This is Roselyn and Cindy Parker.
Hello.
And we're hosts for Get a Grip in Las Vegas. And we're actually here today at Tommy Rockers, which is terrific, a great venue. And today we're really fortunate to have Lance Parvin here, who is the founder of the Compassion Awareness Project. I got it right, terrific. Which is all about cannabis, which of course is what everyone's really keen to know about. And Lance has got a great history in this, and he has lots of terribly valuable information. And I'm going to hand it over to Cindy, because Cindy knows a lot more about this than I do.
And we want to thank you for being on the show today. People today, we're now, I think cannabis is in like 23, 25 states. And it's medical that they're doing. And I think maybe 3 or 4 states that could be recreational, is that correct? But the thing today to talk to you about is the questions that people want to ask about cannabis and being medical. And I know there's so many myths out there, and what you're trying to do for the community and help some patients. Explain a little bit about what you're doing to help people that need this.
Well, I think one of the main things is breaking through a lot of the misinformation that people are, spouting off, because you see it on the internet and you see it on television, and it's very hard now that it's becoming more accepted of what's true and what's not. And even in the medical community, doctors per se don't have really accurate information, because they're even looking, like, who do we go to for this? The AMA doesn't necessarily provide that. So most people, as something becomes bigger now, are wondering, where do we go to get information? So we try to be that kind of a point that they can come to and say, look, it doesn't make a difference. The plant itself is medicinal. So a lot of these other things are great marketing strategies, but the plant itself is medicinal. And these are the different ways that it works and what it does and the system that it's working on, and so on and so forth.
And everybody talks about organic. So it is organic, because it is a plant.
Well, cannabis, plants were put here by God. And so that's the key thing, of our bodies react to plants without side effects, unlike pharmaceutical industries, which is a synthetic version of a plant. All pharmaceuticals that you take are based on a plant. And those are very interesting clinicals to see. So when a company says we have to recreate something, but you can't patent a plant, you can patent a synthetic. And that's one of the differences. So more and more people are starting to see that the drugs they've been taking not only aren't working, but they're causing side effects. And so when the truth starts coming out, it's been out for a little while now, when you have stuff like the Virginia study, which was a 1974 study done by our government on the efficacy of cannabis. And that's a very interesting one, because that was during Nixon's administration. It showed how effectively it fought cancer and showed cell regeneration. So now people are starting to see, and at this point there's over 20,000 studies on cannabis. So my question is, how many do you need?
Now, when you go and let's say that I have a friend and they've had breast cancer, and this is a good example, had breast cancer, became anorexia. The prescriptions were so expensive. Like $3,000 a month. Could not afford it. She did use the medical cannabis, and you know what? She's a survivor today. She doesn't have anorexia, so it has helped her. But we talk about cancer, and we talk about the other diseases that are out there. I came from the medical industry. I'm used to white papers. I'm used to clinicals. And I know we just had a discussion about if somebody came to you because you are a consultant, you advise, and you do these papers to prove. Is that correct?
Yes.
You actually prove what this product does. What is your feelings if I was a physician and came to you and said, show me the white paper, show me the clinical?
The first question I have to say is, what's your conflict of interest? Because my thing is this, that you as a physician, if you've seen over time that there have been multiple studies at this point, 20,000, and you can see that it's more effective than chemo, radiation, and genetic drugs, what more research do you need? But I've taken a step further. See, I changed a doctor's mind very quickly. Here's my thing on a white paper or a clinical. You have a brain tumor, and you have a month to live. Now tell me about your clinicals. And it's very interesting how doctors will change their mind instantaneously, because when they start to see the stuff that they've been promoting, they know doesn't work. But they're now more open-minded to these other herbal remedies. And so that's normally a quick thing when someone can empathize with another person, mainly it's when they get sick. That's when people's options open up. So with me, there's not a set number. I think if you get benefits from something, someone can't take that away from you. You don't need more proof than that.
Yeah. So you're able to go, and with your funding that you have, he's able to go in and help people that can't afford to
Get access.
get access.
In different
Then
places.
you will help these patients get.
No one should be turned down because of lack of, and that's how our system is set up currently, where someone can't afford the drugs, and they're just kind of like, well, sorry, we can't help you, go home. But that's the key thing. If we're really focusing on treating people, we should treat them, not just kind of send them home and say how much money they have, or take the money and then they're still sick. Be like, oh, we can't do anything else.
So sorry to interrupt, but I'm new to all of this, coming from Australia. So Lance, you said that you, I suppose, go up against all these different myths and you sort of disprove them. So what would be the two most common myths that the general public would have about medical cannabis?
There's no medical value of cannabis and it's highly addictive. And that's, I can tell you, those are the two main myths,
Really?
because that's why it's Schedule 1 drug of the DEA. That's exactly what it's defined as. When you schedule drugs in a classification system, the scheduling is based on medical use versus good qualities. Well, it has neither. It's 100% medical and it's not addictive. So then why would it be classified at that part?
Good question.
So, telling the audience that it's not addictive because pharmaceuticals are addictive. And to get the people off of it, then you've got a whole other disease in itself.
And the most important point that I like to make with this is that it stimulates your endocannabinoid system, which all of us have. The endocannabinoid system is stimulated by cannabis and stuff like echinacea.
Yeah.
Well, this is something that's and this system controls everything in your body. Every system, all your cells. It creates pretty much a base. So what happens when someone gets sick, cannabis doesn't recognize a disease. It recognizes an abnormality. And the system is set up to create homeostasis again, which is why we've seen results from everything from diabetes, cancer, autism, lupus, fibro, across the board. So slowly they release stuff. That's the difference. Is they'll say, well, we might have seen some stuff with cancer, but what else is it effectively treating? And like I said, if a person who's sick, they don't have 5 years to wait until you want to slowly release information that this is effective. So I tell people, well, if it does this and does this and does this, it's activating a system. So when you understand, and like I said, most doctors don't realize what the endocannabinoid system was. It was founded 40 years ago.
So how do people who, obviously there are people out there now that are very interested in finding it, but more importantly I think they're very interested to meet an individual who has spent a lot of time researching this and can actually obviously speak quite eloquently about the whole thing. How do they contact you and what's the best way?
Well, they can always find us on our compassionawarenesssproject.org, which is the
Compassion Awareness Project.org, not .com.org.
But I would tell anyone, when you're looking into something, especially with your own health, do research. I hear this all the time, is that you're deferring to someone who's a so-called expert. Like you spend more time shopping around for where you're going to take your car.
Exactly, you do, that's right.
And that's the key thing. I understand there is a lot of misinformation out there, which makes it difficult, because as people start this pursuit, but that's any kind of research. As you look into it, the internet has provided us a thing where you can get all these different opinions. And then you can kind of start to compare stuff and talk to people. And even, I'm not the only one who knows about this. There's plenty of people.
Okay, so I do have a question because everybody asks about edibles, and there's brownies out there, and there's consumption of these brownies. So I'd like for you to explain to the audience about consumption or how you would use an edible, and then talk about the oil because I know that's very, very important and how it actually concentrates and penetrates.
With edibles, very quickly, what ends up happening is the thing you have to watch when you're sick. Let's say with cancer, they have sugar. And if you're using edibles as a treatment, sugar feeds cancer. So that's the one thing. I'm not against edibles per se.
Yeah.
The other thing that you have to understand is what is your dosage. You have to know in an edible. So based on who's making it and how much plant matter they're using, you can't necessarily state, well, I know how much is in brownie 1 versus brownie 2 versus brownie 4.
Makes sense.
And that becomes an issue. The difference with oil is the absorption. Cannabis as a plant is completely medical. The way in which you take it, that defines absorption. So when you smoke it, it gets in your system in 5 minutes, but it doesn't last as long. So your absorption is much lower. With an oil, it gets in there, and because it's fat soluble, the absorption is much, much greater. And patients will always state, if I have to smoke 8 times a day and I want to take the oil once, you can also see the cost effectiveness. That's the key thing, because you want as much absorption as you can and as little as possible.
This is amazing.
I love your expertise. I love your dedication on where you're going to help people, and we really want to thank you for coming on today. I'm truly honored to meet you.
I think, look, I've learned a great deal, and obviously to me, the most important thing I've learned today, apart from how to find you, which is compassionawarenessproject.org. is that there is a difference between what Cindy refers to as edible, which is sort of recreational, I suppose, like the brownies and things like that, versus the medical side, which is the oil and dosages, and that makes a lot of sense. One
It's
you
a
can,
different way of taking
yeah, one you can actually moderate. The other one is a hit and miss type thing.
It can be. Yes.
Terrific. Okay, thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Well, we got a grip on Vegas today. Thank you for joining us.